Alright, we are working on the 79 Corvette. This is the L82 4-speed Corvette, and it's time to put side pipes on it. But first we got to remove the old exhaust, so that's what we're going to do in this video. And I'm sure we're going to have some troubles. Cross my fingers we don't break any bolts into the manifold, but it's an old car. Stuff happens. So I got the car jacked up pretty high. I have it level, and I think this should be good. This is just over 2 feet off the ground, so I think we're going to be good. Yeah, just going to slide under and start pulling the old exhaust off. My exhaust, I don't believe is factory, but I really don't know. But it's all one piece. The only bolts are at the manifold collectors, the two, and then it does the Y into one piece to the catalytic converter. Now it comes back 2 pieces, and then the only other bolts besides the collectors is one on each side for the hanger in the tailpipe area. So we're just gonna zap those off, and I got my trans jack in the middle to kind of support it. Okay, so back under, and right here is the collector for the driver's side. I'm gonna zap this one off. Once again, just sprayed some PB Blaster on it, and then I'm gonna use the impact and just go nice and slow with it. Thankfully, since I'm just removing this, I don't really care if it breaks, but it would be nice not to break anything. You know, that little sense of satisfaction. Alright, I'm now recognizing a problem that some of you might have picked up on already. Because there's no middle clamp, nothing that separates the front collector Y from the catalytic converter and cat back section, because like on the C4s they have the cat back section where it's 4 bolts at the catalytic converter and you can unbolt it that way. But because there's none of that, and because this is a manual car and this trans mount, subframe mount, whatever it's called, cross member, it's not removable on manual transmissions. So there's no way to, I'm gonna have to cut this exhaust in half, and I'm gonna cut it right where the catalytic converter starts. That's gonna be what I have to do. I don't have any tools for that, so I need to go pick up a tool. I know they have like those clamp style exhaust cutters. I think that's exactly what I want, because I don't want something that's gonna make sparks, because I hate sparks. But yeah, I'm gonna go shopping for that. Yeah, I'm gonna do that before I do anything else. That way I can cut it while it's suspended up. I don't want to drop the front half and then have to deal with anything else. Alright, picked up one of these. Never used this before, obviously, since I bought it. So I think it seems simple enough. We reach it around and we just twist it off. So yeah, let's give it a shot. I am putting it right where the catalytic converter was welded to the front pipe. Again, I don't know, I don't believe it's factory for it to be just one welded piece. And there's obvious weld marks on this catalytic converter. Now, I don't imagine this catalytic converter was ever replaced, because it was only on the road for 20-something years, but either way, let's cut it off here. And yeah, I got jack stands everywhere so the exhaust doesn't just fall. Alright, so quick update. This is not as easy as I thought it would be. It's been a couple minutes just going back and forth, and you start going, and then once it bites in, then it starts getting easier. And then that's the hard part. When you start, you have to squeeze harder and twist again. So I've been spraying penetrating fluid on it just to keep it lubricated. I think that's really helping. That's a good idea, especially if you want this to last more than one cut. But we're almost there. We just got to keep going little by little. Alright, got it separated. I think we're good. We're going to take off the cat back now, since we already have the bolts off. We already have the bolts off for the collector, so now it's just being held up by just the rust on the collector and then this jack stand. So let's get this exhaust out. The only thing we'll have left is the manifolds. Alright, got the tailpipe section, the cat back of the exhaust off. The front is kind of stuck right now. Either I cut more, like I cut another section in the middle and make 2 cuts, or I remove the manifold and maybe I have enough room to pull this front section forward and then down. So I'm going to work on the manifolds now. We're here on the passenger side. Just gonna do it. I think the passenger side is gonna be harder because of all the smog stuff, but now's a good time as any to get rid of all this smog stuff. So I'm not really sure, what all goes into taking off a manifold on the smog era small block, but just gonna take off whatever seems to be in the way. All right, got all the bolts out. Now the manifold will slide right out. See how tricky it is to get it out of here. Okay, not too bad. So far so good. We got the heat riser here. Totally forgot that these already were on 79s. I knew they were on the 80s, but I didn't know they were on 79s. And actually it looks like this one, someone's messed with it. Someone blocked it off. Yeah, someone cut off the tab that's supposed to, like the flange in here that's supposed to block it. Interesting. That might explain why none of my bolts broke. Someone was in here at some point and went through it all. But cool, we got it off. So you can see the 4 spark plugs right here. Yeah, I ended up taking the AC compressor off of the bracket completely. You do have to take off most of the bracket because there's one bracket here that bolts to this last stud over here. And then I just took it off completely and held it out of the way with my hand and got a wrench on the side here to get this side one. I'm thinking I'm probably going to remove this AC compressor at this moment. Eventually the plans are to put AC in this car and have functional AC, but at the moment that's down the road. So I think I'm gonna remove the black brackets and really clean up this engine bay. Yeah, passenger side wasn't too bad. Did have to remove the emission tubes first before I could get to all the bolts, but yeah. So now let's do the other side. The other side we have the brake stuff in the way, so we'll see how that is. Alright, our new problem. We have everything disconnected and it's stuck. Well, if you see here, there's this little bracket, that's custom made bracket, welded to the exhaust here. It's welded on both sides. So, either I take like a saw and just cut the welds, which it's not going to happen. I'm just going to be here way too long. It looks like the bracket bolts to the trans mount. So what I'm going to do, which I did not see this coming at all, I'm going to put my trans jack on the transmission and I'm going to undo the trans mount, lift the trans up, and slide this bracket out of there. I'm hoping that should be enough. All right, finally got the exhaust out of the way. Now I need to get the trans mount back in. Alright, so we finally got the whole exhaust system out. We got the cap back under the car. That's no big deal, after we cut that off. Got the front off finally. Ended up having to make another cut right here. And here is this bracket that I was saying was giving me all this trouble. Someone welded on a bracket. I don't know if this is factory, it might have been, and the attachment point might have been somewhere up there, and then that got welded on, because I can see a little bit of some booger welds going on up here. So this could be where it got modified at some point. And if I had to guess, I'd say it got modified right there. Right where the Y is. All right, we got this out. Show you the engine bay real quick. As you see, the driver's side manifold is off. The entire exhaust system's off at this point. So we are ready to do some test fitting. Pro tip, I think I just figured something out. Good way to tell if your manifolds, your new manifolds, are going to fit. Take the old ones, line them up. In this case, I don't know how well you can see on camera, but the bolt holes actually match up everywhere. And then on this side, you can see we got the rectangular ports. I believe that's the one that means small block, so I think it's the circular ones that mean big block Chevy. I don't know. So here is the passenger manifold. So if you don't remember, I picked these up off Facebook Marketplace. These are a used set of Hooker headers. I think it's the Hooker Super Comped. Yeah, great set of headers for a great deal. And I managed to get the passenger one unseparated. Now, this came off of a '69 Corvette, or should I say, more than likely it was just parts. I think it was definitely ran at some point, but the car was kind of sitting in storage in pieces for 20 plus years. So this hasn't been ran in a while, but also hasn't been taken apart in a while. So getting it separated, that was a pain. I had to use a torch, lots and lots of heat, and just pounding it off. I haven't got the driver's side separated yet, so I'll probably make that into my next part of the video, the install part, so you can see how I do that. But yeah, here it is. I believe in order to fit it, we got to go through the bottom. Actually, I don't even know how it would be even possible to do it from the top. But yeah, we'll go from the bottom. We're gonna pull the spark plugs out, the wires, this exhaust or the heat shield for the spark plugs, and I think I'm gonna pull the starter as well to give me a little bit more room. And I think that should be good. The driver's side, I already know I'm gonna have to pull the Z-bar for the clutch, but I want to do the passenger side first. The passenger side is the easiest, and I want that sense of accomplishment. So here's the side pipe for the passenger side that I was able to separate. Now, I was really crossing my fingers that the mufflers did not have the baffles in them, or the side pipes did not have the baffles in them. I want to run this with no baffles, no mufflers, just raw, loud, big sound from a small block. That's what I want. So unfortunately, if you can see in here, it definitely has a baffle. I have no idea what one this is. I guess I could do some research. If I had to guess, it'd probably be the Hooker reverse flow one, just because this is Hooker set. But these have been in here for so long, they've rusted into one. There's no way I'm going to be able to pound it out. And even if it is possible, it's just not worth my time. So I think my game plan is, I was originally going to send these out, the headers and the side pipes out to be professionally ceramic coated. I think, however, now that I know there's baffles inside, I think I'm just going to run it as is, and down the road I'm going to plan on getting new side pipes. And when that happens, then I have to get the header part ceramic coated at the same time as the side pipes. That way everything matches. So I'm just going to run as is. It's going to get a little rusty probably, but I don't run this car that much. It'll be fine. Let me know what you think about that. Would you just run it as is, or are you the type that would just while I'm here, just buy the whole side pipe kit and get everything ceramic coated all at once, so I only have to do this job once? We'll see. That's what I'm going to do. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. We'll put these on, and we'll get to hear it. I have parts to order, but gotta do what I gotta do. See you in the next one.